All right, so last time we looked at this ball and BallWorld, we defined this mouse pressed method and we defined the grow method over in the ball class, and I asked you to make some changes, including writing a shrink method. Okay, so let's just say that you kind of got mixed up in the order that you were doing things, and you said, okay, well, when the mouse is pressed, we want my ball to grow and we want your ball to shrink. Okay, so this error right here is happening because over in the ball class, I haven't yet written my public void shrink method. Okay, and so just kind of thinking about this, like I could just go ahead and type it in and that error would go away. But one of the nice things about Eclipse is that you can go ahead and say like, oh, I want this thing to happen. Oh, you don't know how to do that? Well, let me mouse over this thing and see if I can get it to do what I want it to do for me. It says right here that one of the quick fixes available for this is to create the method shrink in the type ball. Well, that's exactly what I want to do. So let's go ahead and press that. And now what it does is it writes the skeleton of that method for me. Okay? It doesn't write the code that goes inside of it because the program or the language doesn't know what I want to do when I shrink. But it does kind of save me some time in writing this part out. Not a lot of time, but a little bit of time. And inside of there, we would want to do what? Well, grow means we're taking the size and adding 10 to it. Shrink means we're taking the size and subtracting 10 from it. Okay? So let's go ahead and run BallWorld again. Let's run BallWorld again. Okay, and now when I press, it's making my ball grow and your ball shrink. And then when I release, it registers that as a click, a press and release, so that moved my ball. So if I drag, again, you saw my ball grow and your ball shrink. Okay, my ball grew and your ball shrank. If I drag, I'm moving that around. My ball grow and your ball shrink when I press. Okay, and so we're seeing that shrink method work because I kept on pressing the mouse. Okay, and so the next thing is I'm asking you guys to write a mouse release method that basically does the opposite. It makes my ball shrink and your ball grow. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this, go down here and paste it, and then call it mouse, change the name of it so that's mouse released. Make this be your ball that's growing and my ball that's shrinking. And then if I run that one, now that's a press, that's a release. And it registers as a click, so it moved my ball. Press, drag this thing around, release. You see them kind of growing and shrinking as I press and release. Okay? Press, release, press, release, press, release, press, release. Okay? So that's how that works. All right. The last thing that we're going to do with ball and BallWorld is we are going to make it so that when we create the ball, like we did up here, we can assign some of the variables that we want it to have. Okay, so in other words, like what if I want my ball to start out being green and your ball to start out being blue? I don't want them to be the same size, in the same location, and have the same color. In order to do that, we have to change or add a constructor. So if I want some balls to be able to be like created this way, where they're just in the same position with the same size and the same color, I can do it. I can leave it like that. And if I want to create another ball that has like specific values, then I can go ahead and make a separate constructor to do that. Okay. So right now, both of those ball objects, my ball and your ball, are using this constructor. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to define another constructor inside of here that's going to allow one of these balls to have a different position, size, and color than the other. Okay, so let's go public ball. Okay, just like that. Now I can't just leave it like that because then that means that this is the same as that, and the computer can't tell the difference between the two. So I got to give it something to give it a difference. And so what I'm going to do in here is I'm going to define parameters for the x, int the y, int the size, and color the color. Okay? And then inside of the constructor, all right, inside of here, we're going to say x shouldn't be 50, x should be whatever I receive as the x. Y should be the y. Size should be the size. And color should be the color. Okay? All right. I'm sorry, not color, but hue. The name of that variable is hue, so I want to put in hue equals the color. All right? So let's kind of talk about what we can do in BallWorld now. And I'm going to split the screen so that this makes a little more sense. But over here in Ball, we have these variables. And what we want to be able to do is construct a ball so that I can set X, Y, size, and hue from the constructor. So I'm going to do that with my ball. I'm going to make my ball in a different position. So I'm going to say that my ball is going to be in the position 200, 300. And I want my ball to be bigger than your ball, so I'm going to make the size 100. And then I want it to be green. So I'm going to go color dot green over here. Okay? So what did I just do? Well, your ball is being constructed this way. So it's got nothing going to the constructor. So it's an empty parameter constructor right here. So it's going to use this constructor, and it's going to set your ball to have an x equal to 50, y equal to 100, size equal to 50, and hue equal to red. All right? My ball is getting constructed this way. And so what it does is it looks up here for the constructor that matches that, where it's getting an int, then another int, then another int, and then a color, and that's this one. So 200 is going to the x, 300 is going to the y, 100 is going to the size, and then green is going to the color. And then it does whatever's inside of here, so it assigns x to be the x, which was 200, y to be 300, size to be 100, and hue to be green. And so just making that change in that constructor, or just adding that constructor, makes it so that when I run BallWorld, okay, now it made it so that this was green, okay? So we saw how that ran. And let me just do it one more time. I guess it's registering that I entered there, so let me just run it one more time. Okay, that's the green that I'm looking for. So, so this time, your ball is this new ball using this constructor. X is 50, Y is 100, size is 50, color is red. My ball, it just changed color because the mouse entered, but my ball is at 200, 300, size is 100, and color was green a second ago. Okay, so that makes, hopefully that is making some sense to you. Okay, let's go ahead and we're going to create another ball just to kind of nail the point home. So we're going to go private ball. This is in BallWorld again. Okay, private ball. Let's call it his ball. That's going to be a new ball. And let's just put it in a different position. So we're going to say that the x is 0, the y is 250, okay? The size is, let's say, 200, and the color is blue. All right? So now I have a his ball object, and I want that thing to get drawn. So I'm going to go down to the draw method and put in his ball dot draw. Okay, so there it is. All right, Okay, so as soon as I enter here, it's going to change the color of my ball, right? But what we see here is that my ball is here at 200, 300. It has a size of 100, okay, and it was green a second ago. His ball is at x equals 0, y equals 250, and has a size of 200. So that's that blue, his ball. And then we have your ball, which is that kind of default ball, x equals 50, y equals 100, size is 50, color is red.